Hello, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and today, of course, is the 23rd, and there's still some confusion because of something I'm going to talk about right now. The animal control called me this morning and said that my cat was downstairs in the ladies' apartment again. Well, I happened to get up, and he was laying on my couch. So I called the officer back. I said, you know what? My cat is laying on my couch. I mean, I'm not saying he couldn't have been downstairs, but I don't think it was Rusty. Lummy suggested that some time ago, and I'll let Lummy explain why she says that. Well, first of all, the reason I say that is because of his coloration of the other cat does not look similar to that Rusty's. It's similar enough that if you saw the other tomcat, it looked very close to Rusty, but the cat did not recognize us. Okay. Second of all, is when he was curled up in the ball in the fetal position, his patterns on his belly did not match Rusty's. So I think that that's why I suggested, Michelle, that the patterns on his stomach does not look like Rusty's quite the same. Rusty is a very common species of tomcat. He's not very unusual. So the question is, still, could this be another cat that is very close, similar to Rusty, or even identical to Rusty, enough that the neighbor doesn't know the difference? Of course, we still have no absolute certainty. It isn't Rusty either. So what we're trying to do is, what you guys can help here, like always, we have a tip jar out. We need to get him his shots and possibly get him clipped. As much as I hate to do that, but I got a feeling I'm going to have to anyway. Because, if he's going into people's houses now, it's not going to be long before somebody decides to take a .357 Magnum and cause damage to my cat, or damage to me, or something like that. We live in a very dangerous time and age where you got terrorists, extremists, that are going after gays and lesbians. It wouldn't take very much to send one of them off the deep end to go after a person because of hate crime because of a cat. So, yeah, we're going to try to finally deal with that issue with the cat. What do you think? Well, I think that's a great question. I mean, you haven't used your care credit in a while. You have about $300 credit limit on it. You haven't used it. You still got a card? I should still have the card. Yes, I do. I do. Okay, so the problem is that I am in good standing with care credit. I haven't used that card. And I used it for my own dental care, was about 2 years ago. And so, yeah, we have this card. We're going to use it. But the thing is that I'm finding this whole situation extremely untenable. I can see the point there. It's getting quite extreme. And Miss Dental Drill, as you call her, isn't exactly negotiable. She's not helping, because she would help if she would tell you, she didn't even tell Officer Campbell if the cat was downstairs after you called and explained that the cat was on the couch. So that tells me that, number one, I don't think it's Rusty. I'm not saying Rusty couldn't be doing that behavior, but I think Rusty, he was gone all night. Yes, he was. But, so there is that question where was Rusty last night? I don't know that. I wish I had an absolute clue. I do not know. But anyway, the point is today, of course, let's get some other news in. Today is the great Brexit vote. Now, the polls opened in the UK about 7 a.m. this morning, so that's British Standard Time. So the polls opened this morning, our British summertime. I'm sorry, they call it British summertime. We call it daylight savings time. I guess we can call it summertime too here in the U.S. So about 5 hours ago, because it's about 10 a.m. our time. It's about 3 o'clock their time. Yeah, about that. So we'll let you know how the vote goes. So today, because I know they said the polls are going to be opening about 7 a.m. in the UK, so we will let you know how the Brexit vote goes. Texas, the state of Texas, wants to do the same thing and consider its own Brexit, or Texit. That sounds creepy. That's what they want to call it, Texit, to leave the U.S. Union. So I think it's going to be the beginning of the disintegration of the European and U.S. Union, because I know that the state of, I think it's Vermont, wants to leave. There's been several plans, there were several votes in different states to secede from the Union. So we might be seeing the breakup of the U.S., especially since they got sick and tired of abominations policies. So we'll see how that goes. Several other countries in the EU are also considering having their own Brexits as well. So it's not just the UK or British Empire that wants to leave. But it'll certainly be interesting to see. Next thing, of course, is I want to talk about, Governor LePage's lament about the EBT SNAP program, only because I have to admit that when I read the story, I kind of took a double take. Here we have the governor of Maine, a very, very vociferous Republican, who is extremely upset with the Department of Agriculture, that the Department of Agriculture is not enforcing healthy food choices as that Michelle Obama is trying to do in the school system. He said the problem is people are buying a lot of sugary drinks and candy bars for the food stamp program. He said only 31% of Maine recipients are using the program to buy healthy food. Now, where did he get the numbers from? I don't know. Obviously, the EBT program obviously has access to the sales figures of individuals. And it does make sense, since a lot of people do go shopping at a standard or the same shopping shop consistently. I go to Stop and Shop most of the time in Cumberland Farms. But of course, this is Connecticut, it's not Maine. But I want to talk about what he's saying. Governor LePage is right. I believe that there is a problem with the food stamp program, is that there is a lot of people buying sweet drinks and candy bars on the program. One state is saying is well, we should ban the allow of the use of food EBT cards at convenience stores. I don't think that's the answer. However, I want to see what I think is the answer. And I think Governor LePage would agree with me on this. I've been in Maine. I've seen Maine. I know what Maine looks like. Maine isn't exactly like downtown, Winsted. I mean, some of the towns are about the size of downtown Winsted at best. Or some of them are even smaller than that. The problem is grocery stores in Maine are not exactly always conveniently within walking distance for those who don't have cars. So the problem is the problem the food stamp is the problem that the people are not able to get to the stores, or is the problem that you as a state seem to have decided to just not remember that a lot of your people in your state on these programs may not have transportation, because Maine's pretty spread out. It's not like Winsted. and Torrington. A lot of the towns in Maine are very much similar to Winston in size. There is definitely some Torrington size. Bangor is certainly is bigger than Winston, but it's not as big as Torrington. Portland is certainly bigger, is about the size of Hartford. But once you go further north in Maine, the towns become farther and farther apart. So the first question is where do you want people to buy food? I have to say that I agree that the convenience stores in some towns, which are often the only choice of food, should be encouraged to provide more healthy food options for people. But I don't really think we should go ahead and say you can't buy a coffee on food stamps. In the state of Connecticut and a lot of EBT card states, you cannot buy a hot coffee on food stamps. You cannot buy a hot bowl of soup on food stamps. You cannot buy anything that's heated on food stamps. You can buy cold things like sodas and you can buy milk too, but not too many people buy milk. I got this from the soup kitchen, but I want to use this as an example here. The biggest problem is as we go through and buy milk and things like that and everything. It's just it's an example of what I'm talking about. So Ola Page appealed to the Department of Agriculture, asking that the state of Maine be allowed to police his own food stamp program, and he was turned down. He also basically said, using Donald Trump's policies, is that we have to be willing to walk away. Well, if he walks away from the food stamp program in Maine, what are you going to replace it with? For those 31% of people in Maine that have followed the rules and have done as you requested and eaten well, those people are going to still need something as a safety net. And I know that in my case right now here in Connecticut, we haven't seen anything. It's a good safety net for people who want to eat healthy but have no transportation. I try to get healthy food when I can, but I also want to attack this problem from another angle. The federal government is not doing enough to encourage adults to get out and play for an hour a day. We have a lot of adults, including me, who spend a lot of screen time. We research, study these news articles. Every day. I spend about 12 to 18 hours a day reading news articles of websites, videos, and things like that. And it's just taxing. By the way, I did find out that the soonest presidential debate is going to be after the two conventions. So that's pretty interesting because I kind of get confused with the dates and stuff too. So sorry about the screw up. I would love to see what's going to happen. Is Hillary Clinton going to go to jail? A lot of Americans are starting to think she should. Her own IT person has pled the fifth hundreds of times. I think that sounds kind of incriminating to have somebody plead the fifth over 125 times regarding the email server. So something's going on there. Okay? So I think Donald Trump's right to rip her a new asshole. And I think that should be considered that she's also very boring. He's very dynamic. He's very outspoken. His speech yesterday in New York City was a major success for him. I don't see any reasons why I could say anything other than the fact that he definitely had a positive response to his speech about the concerns of Hillary Clinton and ISIS and our issues with our veterans and our soldiers in the military. So I think that's a great thing. And as far as the people in the UK, I really hope it goes well with your vote. I will be watching it. I will let everybody here in the United States know as soon as I find out in the morning vlog, which the vote is today. I'm going to find out and let you know as soon as I get the score of what the vote is. If the EU stays in, or the British Empire stays in the EU or not. I will keep you posted. Now, as far as the cat situation, I'm going to get back to that real quick. We're going to try to get Rusty fixed. And he needs the shots. And so does Fame. And Fame needs to have his ear checked. So, somebody is not going to get paid this month unless I can work out some kind of payment arrangements with all of these costs associated with the vet, the shots, the exam, the fixing services. I have to find out what I can. As far as the individual that's having a dispute with me about the cat, I don't know why you don't call me on the phone, and if my cat is in the house and you still say there's a cat in the house, I want to know, because obviously if my cat indeed is not the perpetrator, I want to know. Okay, if my cat is the perpetrator and I can confirm he's the perpetrator, I want to know, because in the first category, that means that there's another cat who looks like Rusty, who's impersonating Rusty, and my cat's getting blamed for something he didn't do. If the second option is possibly it is Rusty, I want to know how he's getting down there, because I checked the hidey hole that was covered up, though it was an opening that goes across space, that used to be in my bathroom. It's covered up. There's no other pipe access tunnels in the wall. So, again, these issues are a great question about what's going on. I don't want to create an international incident over a cat, okay? It's just, it's just getting irritating, okay? So, I have filed police reports. I have explained to the officers where I stand with my cat, and I'm trying to ameliorate the problem, but the problem is that my cat is not exactly making it easy. Because the problem is my case manager cannot give my cat a ride to the veterinary clinic. Okay? And, yeah, if I did ever move to out of state or even including Barrow, Alaska, yeah, right. And we looked at the video yesterday. We reconfirmed our notes that we said about Barrow, Alaska. And this also, as I said, it is accurate what I said to you. Except I think the price of milk was a little off. This size, whole gallon of milk costs about $10. Not this size milk. All right, so a whole gallon of milk from Anchorage costs about $10. And that's about $3.50 here in $3.29 in some parts of Connecticut. So yeah, 3 times as much, because it has to be put on a plane and shipped by plane into Barrow. So that's where we stand with that. But for now, I want all of you guys to know that I am going to do everything I can to resolve the issue. Dory is going to possibly be in my house visiting me this weekend. We have got to try to continue to wrap up the details of if she's moving in or not. I don't have the clues. If she's taking yes or no. I know she gave me a couple dates, but she didn't say, like I said, she didn't give me a pinky promise or anything about if she definitely was going to move in. So I really am going to need her help more than ever, because I got to pay for the vet bill. Now, I did talk to the landlord. I didn't want to let you know this. He said that's fine. She would become my tenant. In other words, I'm going to have my own lease with her. She'll be paying me the rent, and then he's going to get the rent from me. He and I agreed it would be $800 if she moves in. And so am I going to charge Dory a security deposit? I don't know. That's a great question, because the first thing is, under Connecticut law, as it's supposed to be, you're supposed to put a security deposit into what they call an escrow account. That is a special account that is at a bank or financial institution that is not technically available to the landlord until the tenant moves out and after the apartment is inspected. And also, in addition, as each month the landlord stays there or the tenant stays there, any interest, it's an interest-bearing instrument. And this interest-bearing instrument, they are required to give the tenant the interest rate. However, the truth is right now, the Federal Reserve commercial lending rate to banks is so ridiculous. It's like 40, maybe it's like 4 cents on a $400 per year security deposit. So it's really it's going to cost you more money to have the escrow account and put the money into it than it would to just go ahead and just throw it into a jar of, a sugar bowl and somewhere leave it in a kitchen jar. Or maybe even to convert it into gold or silver, bullion or coins. Yeah, I would probably consider silver because it's cheaper. But I don't know if the law allows me to convert a security deposit into silver coinage. It is still technically legal tender, but I don't know what the story is. So maybe I might just go ahead and not charge Dory a security deposit because it's just more of a pain in my butt than it's worth. So, all right. So that's it for now. But I will let you know all the outcome on all these topics. And you want to say something? Yeah. If Michelle gets taken care of this week, there's going to be it's going to become a hardship for everybody financially. Somebody is not going to get paid. Yeah. That's a very good possibility. So, because Michelle would have to find a way to pay off the care credit account. And I don't know how she can do that when she's already paying and all the money out to all the other bills, and she's going to be left with $6. It's going to mean that somebody's not going to get paid. I'm thinking, in the worst case worst, it's going to probably be the phone bill. Yeah, but even that's a problem. Everything's a problem. There's no answer to anything. We'll try. We'll work out something, especially if Dory does move in the next few months. Maybe we can do something. Well, the problem is the animal control officer, Mrs. Campbell, is not giving me a few months. She's giving me like 2 weeks to get Rusty shots. So I'm really going to have to get the shots, but I do want to get them fixed too. Right. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.